A mild spring evening, sunshine and bubbles will be in attendance for this one. Chelsea travel to the London Stadium for a proper local scrap between two teams vying for a top four Premier League finish. Hello and welcome to Matchday Live. Chelsea versus West Ham in the company of Abby McCarthy and Zach Jelleb. Jason Cundy is on his way as well. Don't worry about that. Zach, I'll start with you, mate. Look, local derbies are they add a little bit, don't they? There's a little bit more spice in the air about it. And I don't think it's unfair to say West Ham have caught a lot of us off guard a little bit this year in the way they've been performing. But they're in the top four on merit. They've been brilliant. They've beaten some very good teams and played some really good football. This is going to be a big one tonight.
This is a huge game. I think I've seen Tuchel say it a couple of times in interviews where people have been like, is this your biggest game as Chelsea Man? Is this your biggest game as Chelsea Man? And it kind of is that every game we're playing at the moment is his biggest game. And just because it's so important in the league at the moment with other results going other ways, like Liverpool not taking home 3 points a day, it makes it even more important to make sure we take 3 points home to the bridge. It's a huge game, huge game. And if we win it, it helps us in our battle for Champions League football next season.
Abby, Zach's kind of already answered it, but it feels like this is the most important time we've faced West Ham in the Premier League. Like, this is the 50th fixture between the two teams in the Premier League, but this feels like it's got more on it than any other, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think especially after the result in the week, it feels like there's even more pressure on this game. You know, it's a must win. And as Zach said, West Ham are they're in a really good place right now. This was another season we'd be like, yeah, West Ham, it's fine. But they're actually on fine form. David Moyes obviously done an amazing job. Jesse Lingard on a bit of a run. They have got some players injured though, which gives me a little bit of comfort, I'll be honest. But yeah, I'm hoping we can get the 3 points tonight.
Zach, exactly that. Every time there's a little bit of news out of West Ham, and I'll be honest, I've been the first to do it. When Declan Rice got injured, I thought, okay, this might be the catalyst to them falling away. Then Mikel Antonio gets injured. They've not got another recognised centre forward. You go, okay, this will be it. This will be where they fall away. But every single time something like that happens, they don't. They seem to galvanise. And in a season where no team's finding consistency, for them to have lost one league game at home in 2021 proves that they've probably been the most consistent out of all the teams we've faced so far.
A lot of credit has to be given to West Ham this season, and even at just after the Project Restart last season as well. We faced them at the bridge there, and we saw what happened there. It wasn't an easy. We faced them at the London Stadium that time during that season, and it wasn't an easy game then either. And they have been really, really good. And every time they have had an injury, as you said, they've overcome it. They've made sure that other players have come in. Other kind of the players that have been so good for them. Souček's unbelievable in midfield, does it all, attack and defence. Jesse Lingard, as Abby mentioned, has come in and just playing like prime Lionel Messi at times. It's ridiculous. But we kind of mentioned it in the build-up earlier. But Chelsea have enough to do them, to make sure that we take home 3 points. It's just about being on our A game today, because we have to respect West Ham and acknowledge that they are a good enough team to score against us and to possibly beat us. But if we're on our A game, then we should be okay.
Absolutely right, mate. I think all of us are kind of feeling that same energy, because if you have a look at our play predictors, which we'll get to now, if you haven't done this already, by the way, a chance for you to win a £100 Megastore voucher and a signed shirt as well. 55 points won it for Ebrawayo from Nigeria against Brighton in midweek. If you can top our leaderboard this week, you'll have done very, very well, and those prizes will be all yours. So we've obviously only gone for final scores today. Jason has gone for a 1-0 win. The rest of us think it's going to be an absolute goal fest. And Abby, I think that's mainly down to the fact that West Ham have been so good going forward, but also they have kind of, they've been got at, conceded 3 against Arsenal fairly recently. Obviously, we saw that game as well. Chelsea, it kind of feels there's another game coming, like a Crystal Palace, where we score a couple, isn't there? So maybe today's that day.
Yeah, I went 3-2 just because the last few West Ham games have had that score, if I'm honest. But I think that we'll get another goal and we'll sneak the win, I think. And as you mentioned, West Ham have conceded quite a few goals in the last few games. So I think it could be a chance for us, if we start on the front foot anyway, to put away a few chances. Because in recent games, we've created chances, not always made the most of them. So I'm hoping in today's game, we're clinical, and it's more of a performance along the lines of, the Crystal Palace game, where we're kind of attacking and not messing about. Let's hope so anyway. I mean, after that Brighton ball fest, we need some goals today, don't we? Do you know what I mean?
we've been spoiled in recent weeks. We've been spoiled with 2-0 over Porto and Champions League victories with Atletico Madrid. But Zach, there's a lot of similarities, and I'm sure we'll come on to it. There's a lot of similarities between Chelsea and West Ham, even to the extent that they kind of both play with sometimes an unrecognised centre forward in a false nine. Jarrod Bowen's played up there for a lot of them, but maybe that's why they've kind of been able to score so many goals, because you when you've got players up against like that and you drift into pockets of space that you don't expect, and they've got players that are willing runners and want to get into positions. They've been very good going forward. Is that why you've gone 3-1?
Yeah, I think one of their most dangerous aspects is on the counter-attack, they are lethal. They seem to take their chances every time, whether that is Jesse Lingard, whether that is Bowen, whether that was Antonio when he was playing, or Souček's up there. They've got such a mix of players where they're really good aerially, they're really good on the ball, they can dribble, they can shoot from range. Like, they've kind of got so many aspects for a way how they can score a goal, which is where Chelsea just need to be aware. But the one thing I will say is defensively, they're not great. Defensively, especially in that second half, they are not great. Whether that is due to them getting tired, whether that is them just through age. I think Craig Dawson is that one of their centre backs, and he's obviously now getting on. And so, yeah, if Chelsea can kind of maybe play into that, maybe look, first half, make sure we go in with us keeping a clean sheet, and in the second half, really go at them. We might have a bit of success, which is why I think 3-1.
Let's hope so, mate. Well, hot topic one is kind of something you've already alluded to, Abby, a missed opportunity. It did feel like that a little bit, didn't it, on Tuesday evening with West Ham and Liverpool dropping points last weekend. Obviously, we played before Leicester as well, so we could have gone third in the league. They beat West Brom later in the week. But Liverpool dropped points again today. Yeah. So it's another opportunity, not only to gather points immediately on West Ham, but Liverpool and start to stretch that gap a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think a win is kind of needed today for a bit of momentum again, a little bit of a positive buzz. Obviously, we had the battle against Man City to get to the FA Cup final, which was such an amazing moment. And then there was kind of all the noise around the Super League. And I think maybe the players got a little bit distracted. And also Brighton, I know they hadn't played a game for like a week. They'd had a lot more rest than us. So I think we just looked a little bit mentally and physically knackered. But I feel like today we're going to be recharged. We're getting to the business end of the season and we're going to come up battling and get those 3 points. I hope so anyway.
This has definitely got that feel, isn't it, Zach? And although it's in a non-disrespectful way, when you're playing Brighton, it might not feel that that's the opportunity. Whereas when you're playing West Ham and you've got that immediate pressure of not only beating a local rival, beating a team that you're immediately competing against for top four as well, that kind of adds to it a little bit more. So it's kind of in front of you, isn't it? You know that you get the job done today within the 90 minutes. You don't have to worry about the noise from outside. You don't have to worry about the people that are doing other work in other teams and stuff like that. You can focus on your own work. And that's, I suppose, the biggest thing today is you beat West Ham and you've got that immediate gap that you stretch that you'll see within the 90 minutes.
Exactly, yes. All in your own hands here. Chelsea can be either successful here or their own downfall, really. If they win the game, they go above West Ham. They're in the driving seat, and it's all up to us from then. And we're not having to rely on a draw over there, and maybe a loss over here. It's all up to us and whether we win our next coming games. But it's the same. Look, it's the same for West Ham as well. Like, they'll be saying the exact same kind of thing. If we beat Chelsea, it's us. We'll be trying to get Champions League football. But yeah, I think Thomas Tuchel will very much prefer being in that position where he controls the narrative and is able to kind of tell his players, look, getting 3 points today and Champions League football, touch wood, fingers crossed, is another step towards it.
It's got, I suppose in a way, Abby, it's got a little bit of a similar scenario to last season in terms of, that we've got, 7 games to play in the Premier League. Very much competing for that top four, but there's still a huge ramification. I mean, between 4th and 7th prior to Liverpool's kickoff earlier, I think it was 2 points between it. So there's now 1 between that gap. You look at all the similarities between this season and last season. We joked about it on Tuesday night saying, I hope it doesn't go down to the wire. It may well do go down to the wire. And you look at last season, we lost 3 of the last 7. We won the other 4. But that did start with a 3-2 defeat at the London Stadium to West Ham. So those similarities and that deja vu kind of comes in a little bit, and we just hope it doesn't kick off immediately tonight.
Oh, yeah, here we go again. It feels like, I think, as Zach said earlier, every game is crucial at the moment. As we get to this point in the season, it's just, it's going to go right down to the wire, and I hate it. It's bad for my nerves. But a win today, we can all breathe a little sigh of relief, I think, hopefully.
Yeah, that would be very, very nice, wouldn't it? Just a little bit of relief, a little bit of an able to relax and not keep looking over your shoulder, because a win tonight it means that immediately you make a 3 or a 4 point gap over the teams around you. Leicester have still got to play this week, and obviously played later in the week. We've got them in an FA Cup final as well, so there's a little bit more on that. When you're looking at the games we've got to play, Zach, the teams that we've got to play around us, we've still got to play Man City, we've still got to play Arsenal, still got to play Leicester, obviously in the FA Cup final. So many different little narratives coming into it. It's definitely in our hands. All of it is.
Yeah, for sure. And weirdly, I don't know, at the moment it seems to be under Thomas Tuchel, he prefers the bigger games. He can't, the games where we're up against, say, a Leicester, a Liverpool, a Manchester City, and whether it's tactically he's there, that he knows more so what they're doing, and he's seen them more, or compared to maybe like a Brighton team that he's maybe seen a little bit less. I'm not so sure. But yeah, the games are coming thick and fast, and it is weird how it is like so similar to last season. But I really do hope that we'll be in the Champions League next season for sure.
Oh, let's hope so, mate. Well, we are joined from the London Stadium by Matt Davies-Adams. Matt, no need for a coat today. It's looking quite mild and spring-like out there. How you doing?
It's absolutely beautiful pitch side, Joe. It's a little bit chillier up here in the gantry, I've got to say, but luckily I do have the coat ready for the second half. So yeah, well prepared, hopefully, albeit having not made it to the barbers yet, as you can see.
I'm sure being stood behind Jason Cundy anyway, that warmth that he generates from the energy and the sheer kilometres that he puts in during a game. Matt, I believe you've got some team news for us, mate.
Yeah, so 6 changes in total from Brighton the other day. Thomas Tuchel shuffling his pack again. As you mentioned, Edouard Mendy coming back in goal in place of Kerr. Kurt Zouma is also giving way. Thiago Silva is coming for him. Cesar Azpilicueta looks like he's going to play in the right wing-back position today, because he's in for Reece James. We've also got N'Golo Kanté coming back in, so it'll be him and Jorginho in the middle. Mason Mount moving back forward up to what I think is his preferred position and our preferred position for him. Hakim Ziyech dropping to the bench, and it's going to be Timo Werner in the middle of that front three with Christian Pulisic to the other side.
Very interesting. See, we spoke about this in the week, Matt, about the strength that Chelsea have, and in terms of being able to, like you said, shuffle the pack. And Jason, he made a really good point that potentially Thomas Tuchel's got one eye on this game ahead of Tuesday night, and maybe he's already got a team in mind for Tuesday night against Real Madrid as well. I suppose that the best managers have to do that. They have to look ahead. You can't really take it game by game, as much as the cliche goes. But in terms of the squad that he selected today, you'd argue that's pretty much as close to maybe his first choice. Maybe Mateo Kovacic, maybe Reece James in for 1 or 2, but in terms of as close to full strength for Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? Liverpool's result earlier has given us a massive opportunity to put some daylight between those and hoping to get top 4. But I don't think you can prioritise over Real Madrid and West Ham. I think they're equally as important games. And I think at this stage of the season, everybody's exhausted anyway. Is there that much of a turnaround from Saturday to Tuesday? Possibly, you'd say that's a reasonable amount of recovery time the way we've been going this season, but had to go strong today. I don't think there's any other choice. I think the draw on Tuesday has forced his hand a little bit as far as that goes.
Completely right. And Cesar Azpilicueta, Abby, looks like Matt said that he's playing right wing back, which would be very interesting. I mean, he's so reliable, he's so capable wherever you play him, and I believe it today as well was his 421st start for Chelsea, which makes him joint 8th on the all-time appearance makers list, which is such a huge achievement for such an incredible player. And he's one of those, isn't he, Abby, that wherever he plays, if he's in the side, you feel confident, you feel comfortable, because he's so reliable and he's so brilliant.
Yeah, he's so reliable, so consistent, so experienced. I feel like, wherever you put him, I'm not stressed about it. It's Aspi. He'll go out there and do the business, hopefully.
He's phenomenal, isn't he? And Zach as well, it was alluded to in Thomas Tuchel's press conference yesterday, but Edouard Mendy back in goal for Chelsea tonight. Kepa's done a good job every time he's been called upon, especially in the new year when he's had a run of games in the FA Cup and obviously in the league as well. He's kept, I think, 5 clean sheets for Chelsea as well. So he's done nothing wrong. But I suppose when Mendy's rested, this is, I suppose, Thomas Tuchel saying that he is the first choice goalkeeper at the moment.
Yeah, and I quite like the way he goes about it. It's he kind of tells them beforehand that I think he said that before the Manchester City game, you're going to play Manchester City and you're also going to play West Ham, and Mendy knows that as well. And Kepa was actually really good in both. I remember him making a really nice stop in the Brighton game, low to his right side, and he's been fantastic. But I guess Mendy is the number one, and I think it's good that they both know that rather than having to worry: am I going to start this game? Am I not going to start this game? Especially for goalkeepers, they need to be in a level-headed situation and calm throughout. And Mendy and, to be fair, Kepa as well this season have all been fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Matt as well, Tammy Abraham back in the squad today. He's on the bench for Chelsea. It's easy to forget that he's still our top goal scorer in the Premier League, joint with Mason Mount and Jorginho. I think he's got 12 in all competitions as well. The interesting thing I've found about Tammy Abraham the last couple of weeks as well is he's such a solid professional in terms of, he's not sulked about anything. Thomas Tuchel has commented, said how well he's worked within the group, and he always strives for perfection. We've seen this on the pitch time and time again from Tammy Abraham, but he's such a credit to Chelsea Football Club. It's nice to see him back involved today.
Yeah, absolutely. And what he is today is a genuine plan B if needs be. He's a totally different kind of striker to Timo Werner. So if it turns out that Chelsea want to hold the ball up a bit more, or maybe play some balls over the top for him to bring others into play, then he's going to give you that option. And goodness me, he's got some motivation, hasn't he? It's Southampton since the last time he played. That was back in February. Hopefully that doesn't mean that he tries too hard. But yeah, he's a great option for Chelsea to have today.
He's one of those as well, Matt, isn't he? That I know that players will never openly speak about it, but we're not quite sure the extent of Harry Kane's injury. Dominic Calvert-Lewin hasn't exactly been banging him in for Everton as well at the moment. So all Tammy really needs is a run of maybe 3 or 4 games, get a couple of goals in that, and then he's back in the Euro sort of 2020 plans, been playing in 2021.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much he'll be thinking about that, to be honest. I'm sure his main focus is on just getting some minutes for Chelsea, but that's definitely there for him as well. And could it be a benefit that he hasn't played much in the last couple of months? A lot of the England squad, a lot of the teams in this competition are going to be going into it overcooked. If you've got somebody who hasn't played, not because he's been injured, just because he hasn't been selected, then you think that actually that might be quite useful for Gareth Southgate. But yeah, he needs to play some minutes for Chelsea before that becomes a conversation, I think.
Quite a frightening proposition as well that Chelsea have got their top goal scorer that's fully fresh, fit and good to go as a contender for the next couple of weeks of the season. Brilliant, looking forward to this. Thank you, Matt. Nice one for that, mate. Plenty more build-up ahead of this London derby from the London Stadium. Before we crack on with all that, though, of course, let's hear from Thomas Tuchel, who spoke to the press yesterday at his pre-match press conference.
Hi, Thomas. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thanks.
Good. Let's start with the European Super League. Just give us your thoughts and reaction. You've had a few days to digest it all. What's been a pretty remarkable week in football?
Yes, to be very honest, I had so much information just until the day of the match and after the match that I gave myself the luxury of not reading any news, watching any news about anything. So the thing is off. We know what the situation is. Situation is clear. That helps me as a coach to prepare my team for an important match, and that's pretty much everything. I have had enough press conferences and pre-match and post-match talks about it, and now it does not even exist. So happy to move on.
Yeah, obviously the fans' voice has been heard. Do you think it's going to be quite a big job to regain the fans' trust with the people who run the club?
No, because I think that the people and the fans know very, very much that it's also the credit from the owners to improve their clubs and to build strong clubs and build a strong and maybe the most competitive league in the world. So I think they appreciate that very, very well, and I think that people can read very clearly also and can divide things from another, and they expressed their opinion on this decision. They were absolutely not happy, the fans and the supporters, obviously, but I don't think that it affects in general the opinion on what, for example, our owner did with this club, does for the community, does for the women's teams, for the academy, and for the first team. It's a lot of positive things here.
Last one, John.
And have you spoken with the owners since the decision was made? And have they, I know Stan Concrete apologised to Mikel Arteta. Have they apologised to you for what's happened and putting you through that?
No, nobody needs to apologise, and I have not spoken to the owner since I arrived, which is absolutely not a problem. But I was in a dialogue with the club before and after the match, and so I was informed that we are pulling out, and that was pretty much all I needed to prepare the next match against West Ham.
Gail Davis,
Sky Sports News.
Thanks. Sorry, I missed the top there. You said you've had no official apology and you don't need one, but clearly the whole episode has been very distracting for your team, for your players, for your club, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's the owner's club. It's not my club. I'm part of the club, and it was the owner's decision, and was a club's decision, and now they changed the decision, and there's no need to apologize to me directly. My job is to adapt to the circumstances, and were we distracted? Yeah, clearly, because otherwise it would not make sense to be focused on games. We did speak since Sunday about nothing else than Super League. And me personally, I arrived in a state of mind on Tuesday at the stadium, which was clearly not the mindset that I normally arrive in for a match. Yeah, but it's already the past, and I'm like I said, I don't think they need to apologize to me.
The Chelsea Supporters Trust, they've called for your chairman and your chief exec to leave. How tough is it going to be for this club to rebuild the trust amongst the fans? You were there, you witnessed it firsthand, the scenes outside the Stamford Bridge.
Yes, but it was not against the club. It was not against the team. It was we didn't feel it like this. It was against the decision the club made, and this decision is off. So why should there be any worries? They expressed themselves. It's their right to express themselves. They were heard in this situation and in this decision. They were heard, and the club is pulling off and changed the decision. But in general, I'm very sure that everybody sees what our owner and clearly the other owners of the big six teams do for this league. I mean, they are a big part of this competition, and this is the competition where everybody in whole Europe envies us to be in it and to have a competition like this. And this is the solid base is the big six teams, and all the other teams with so many strong managers, so many strong players in there, and so many big clubs, and this is also this is what they did for the club. So I'm very sure that people can divide, and it's not about polemics here.
Okay, we move on now, Gail, please, to the West Ham game, please.
Can you just give us a little bit of a team news? And also, having spoken to Graham Potter yesterday, he said that his team were almost galvanised by what had happened in the ESL. They wanted to really prove a point against you, saying that competition has to be played on a pitch and not through money. So what are you expecting from West Ham, and who's available tomorrow? Are you expecting something similar from them?
No, I expect from them that they fight on a sportive way to be in the top four, and it's their good right because they play an extraordinary season. And the team news is there are no news. Mateo Kovacic is still out. Everybody else is available. The good news is that we are now totally focused on the game. No other subjects around, no other motivations, demotivations, rumors, and whatever out there. We expect clearly a tough match. West Ham, our team, is very strong. Relies very strongly on counterattacks. Relies strongly on their solidarity and discipline in defense, which is the basis for very dangerous counter-attacking side, which they are, and they are relying on their set pieces, which is a real threat. So the challenge is clear. We want to control the match. We want to reduce critical ball losses to a minimum. We want to close the spaces very intelligent before counterattacks can even start, to close them down before they start, and give away as less set pieces as possible. that's the plan. A lot of things to do, and yeah, it's a big challenge for tomorrow's game.
Emma at PLP.
Hi Thomas.
Hi.
Is this the biggest Premier League game you've had with Chelsea since arriving at the club?
No, we had this. I understand the question, but we had this question now many times. We had it, I think, before the Tottenham game, and then before the Man United game, and the Liverpool game, and the Everton game, and the Atletico game, and the Porto game, and now it's for me every game is the biggest game because there are no other games to play tomorrow. So there's only one biggest game, and this is tomorrow. It's against the direct competition, but when you look at our schedule and whom we play in the upcoming weeks, there are only super tough teams, and there are a lot of direct opponents. We play Fulham, Arsenal, Man City, Leicester twice, Aston Villa. So this will keep on going, and this feels like a cup round after a cup round after a cup round. These are almost only crucial fixtures for us that can change the momentum in the fixture, each game of it and each outcome. So we need to be very, very focused tomorrow, and it is clearly a big game. We close the gap. We arrive on 4th place in West Ham. We should be very aware of that and be self-confident. But I know my team very well, and I know that they are very aware that they need another top performance to steal the points from West Ham.
You chose to go with Kerr midweek against Brighton in goal. He rewarded that decision with another clean sheet. I imagine it's a nice headache, isn't it, having two performing goalkeepers? Could you just tell us a bit more about your strategy with your goalkeepers going into these last few games, and whether it will be Mendy again this weekend?
Yeah, Mendy is in goal, and the change was made for Kepa for the cup game. And even before the cup game, the goalkeeper coach and me, we decided that Kepa will stay one more game after Man City to have it like as a reward, to feel a bit the rhythm, like playing every 3 days, to not just be like to have a real reward and not just reward him because of the competition, because what he's doing in training and in the dressing room is outstanding, simply outstanding. In terms of quality and personality, and I'm very, very happy that he could show it on the pitch. Again, he had 2 clean sheets in 2 difficult matches for us, so it's a very good feeling we absolutely can rely on 2 goalkeepers, and they can produce clean sheets, and they earn our trust in the moment. And the situation in general has not changed. Edu will be in goal tomorrow.
Last question, Nick Purewall.
Hey Thomas, just with Mateo's injury, how bad is it? How long do you expect him to be out?
Me personally, I think we can hope for Fulham without now, but don't take it as a granted and as a medical advice. It's just my personal decision, and maybe the physios and the doctors will kill me for that. But I think it's maybe possible to be back again against Fulham, which is between the Madrid games, right? I think Madrid could be very, very close because obviously he has not trained with the team. So to be realistic, when should this happen? I mean, tomorrow is a game, then we have 2 more days to prepare Real Madrid, and semi-final in Champions League without training with the team will not happen. So I think, and hopefully Fulham is a realistic target.
Fabregas! Oh, stunner! What a brilliant free kick from Cesc Fabregas. And Chelsea get the equaliser right on half-time. Sensational goal. Work room for the shot. Oh, it's a peach of a curler.
Oh, that's a fine ball. Zola, he's past Dix. Oh, he's past Dix again! What a goal! He's going to be a favourite if he keeps scoring goals like that. Franco Zola makes it 2. Julian Dix is all over the place.
Stanic. Oh, yes! Oh, yes, indeed! Super Mario with a stunning strike on his Premiership debut.
He's got some space here. And off he goes. Through the gears, through the play, into the net. Genius. There's no other word to describe him. He's the best around. Eden Hazard with another moment of individual brilliance.
That Zola goal is unbelievable. Defender didn't know what day it was, did he? Welcome back to Matchday Live. Chelsea are across the capital in East London tonight, looking to extend their unbeaten run on the road to 10 games. West Ham won't make it easy, though. They've tasted just one defeat on home soil in 2021. Joined by the team, of course. Jay, we were just having a little discussion in the pre-match, mate, about the team lineups and obviously West Ham, how good they've been this season. You'll have seen most of West Ham, if not all of West Ham's games this season. What have you made of them?
Good afternoon, guys. What I've made of it, they're a good side. There's a reason why they are where they are. They're well organised. David Moyes takes a lot of flack about the way he is as his managerial style, but he's getting it right, and there's a balance to the side. I love Soucek and Rice in the middle. Clearly, Rice is going to be missing. The right back as well. So Kafal. They've added to the squad, but clearly Lingard has added something a little bit different, a little bit of magic, a little bit of something different up top as well. But they've had the injury problems, and they clearly aren't going to be the same side that they were 3 weeks ago. And this is a big test for them. It's a big test for us as well, because when you get into this race for top 4, there are games in the season that you look back on and say, that's the moment that top 4 was decided or had a huge influence. This is one of these games. So how good are West Ham? How deep is their squad? How good are Chelsea? How good is our manager? How deep is our squad? And that's the trade-off we've got right now. This is a huge game. A draw would not be the worst result in the world for both sides, bearing in mind what Liverpool have done, but a win would be massive, absolutely huge. So I'm under no illusions how tough this game is going to be. I actually like watching West Ham play. I think they're an entertaining side. They're easy on the eye. I like the way that they defend in numbers and attack in numbers. And we need to be very mindful that they're in this position for a reason. This is not going to be an easy game.
Absolutely not. Well, speaking of run-ins, that is our hot topic too for today. Run-ins and our approach as well, because obviously we want to finish top 4. We want to win the Champions League. We want to win the FA Cup. But I suppose that now the question is, how does that approach change? Because we've already seen potentially, or six changes from the side that played Brighton on Tuesday. Maybe there was one eye on this game. Maybe there's an eye on Tuesday night against Real Madrid. You have to be aware of those games. You know, it's not a case of just going, I just pick the 11 best players all the time, or the 11 players that you want to play all the time, because quite physically, it's impossible a lot of times. You know, they're going to have to travel as well. I'd imagine the flight will go out Monday at some point. So it's not a huge turnaround between players that have got to be ready for that game. What do you think that will come down to? Do you think it will be a game-by-game basis, or do you think maybe the manager will have an eye on 2 or 3 games ahead to make sure that he's not missing anything?
I actually think it might be a mix of both. Obviously, I think as a manager, you have to plan for what's coming ahead, right? You know, the FA Cup final is there. You're going to play City and Leicester again in the league, along with Arsenal later down the road. And as of today, we're facing West Ham and got Real Madrid on Tuesday. And realistically, if this same lineup came up on Tuesday, you wouldn't really bat an eyelid too much, which one shows the competition in the Premier League and the level where anyone can beat anyone and how strong each squad is, but also that like Chelsea's depth is fantastic, and that's the beauty of being in the position that we're in. I'd probably only say us and Manchester City have such equal levels of depth, where in every position there's 2, maybe even 3 players that can play there. And even if we do have an injury, like we did with Kovacic, someone's there to fill in, like N'Golo Kanté's back, or Jorginho's there. Mason Mount did it on on midweek with Brighton. Billy Gilmore's on the bench. Like he's we know the level of him as well. But yeah, for the manager, he'll look always the game that's next. So obviously this is West Ham, that's the main focus. But in the back of his mind, he will be having that, okay, on Tuesday we've got Real Madrid. On the week after that, we're playing whoever. But yeah, you can only take it one game at a time as well, in case you do get injuries, and that might scupper your plans for later on.
Abby, I don't want to be that guy that always brings it back to the similarities between 2012, but obviously there are a lot of similarities between 2012. And unfortunately, one of the similarities we hope doesn't come to fruition is our league form kind of suffered when we made it to the Champions League final. We got close to the FA Cup final as well, because it was kind of still bookended between games and stuff like that. I think we won 2 of our final 6 league games that season. So I suppose the importance of making sure that we get our work done in the Premier League and we don't get distracted, even though there are very, very loud distractions in a Real Madrid game or in an FA Cup final. It's important that we do focus on the league form as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The players just need to focus on the game that they're in. Obviously, it's really exciting. You know, we're battling for some silverware and we're in with a really good chance. But the players just have to focus on the game ahead of them, and not be like me and you, where we're already thinking of the end of the season and getting a bit carried away.
I'm already trying to book my space on the bus, Jay, for the big tour around Chelsea. But don't get too excited.
Stop.
Calm.
Yes, Zach's right. Come on.
Yes. Well, this was kind of my next question, actually, Jay, because how do you guard against that? Not complacency, but how do you guard against that kind of that emotion?
Water.
Because
water.
Water.
Sorry, I've just been asked you.
I was going to say, if water's the key to calming your nerves and everything, that's genius. That's unbelievable. But how do you do that? Because I suppose there's a balance between experience and youthfulness within the squads. Do you need a mix of both? Is it that youthful exuberance that gets you through, or is it the experienced heads that calm things down and keep you focused? What is it?
It's the manager. That's his job. That's where we're at right now. So we're lucky enough we've got a manager that's been in this position this time last season. Okay, the extended season of COVID, but it's about getting decisions right and getting team selection right, planning ahead. You guys spoke about it just a couple of seconds ago about Brighton's team selection. If it was all about the Premier League, would have been very different. His team selection would have been stronger, but we're now in a situation where we had a competition on the Saturday against Manchester City FA Cup, Premier League. We're back to Premier League. Brighton back to Premier League now. Then we got Champions League, and it's managing, it's navigating your way through as many competitions as you can and trying to adjust and get the team selection right. So I think as players and as fans, I think we have to accept that there are going to be changes. There are going to be team selections that we don't quite necessarily see or agree with, but we can't quite understand about what the manager's planning and gearing up for as we progress and navigate our way through the rest of the season. Liverpool have only got one thing now on their mind now. They have only got Champions League qualification on their mind, right? That's all they have. West Ham, that's all they have. That's not the same for us. That we have very different goals and achievements right now about what our season can look like, and it's harder. It's the team set and these little tweaks that we get and little team selections that we see that are going to change things. Look, clearly, when we saw the game against Brighton, the team selection had this game in mind, and I think we have to accept that.
So come on, and I'm going to put you all on the spot a little bit here. You don't have to go into it. You can just tell me outright straight down the barrel. So, Abby, when the season ends, what have we got? Where are we?
Oh my lord!
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm refusing, Jay.
We've got double silverware, FA Cup, Champions League, and we're going to finish fourth.
Zach?
Oh, I can't, Joe. I can't. My morals, my belief, my heart can't do it, mate. The
look I'm getting off Jason Cundy is difficult to navigate around, but I'm going to ask you anyway, mate.
You're asking me right now?
Yeah? Well, if I ask you at full time, that's cheating, isn't it?
Okay, okay. I don't know. Zach's bottled it, right? So I'll come out.
Happily, I'll Spurs it, whatever.
I'll tell you now, right? Okay, we win the FA Cup, and next season we're in the Champions League.
Right.
You're a disgrace. You're an absolute
I
disgrace.
know,
I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it.
see-
I'm going to leave it because you've done well there.
I've sidestepped it, but given you an answer.
You've done very well there, and next week I'm going to put you on a spot even more. I'm going to make sure there's no loopholes in it. Good work. A man who has been showing his signs, but he is back to his electric best in recent weeks, is Christian Pulisic. Jason has been taking a look at the form of Captain America.
Someone that's struggled for consistency of late is Christian Pulisic. There's no doubt in his ability, and we saw that when we come out of lockdown last season. Our best player topped it off with a couple of really good goals. This one in particular against Man City, which ensured that he got the top four. Showing he's got pace, and once he gets in that position, a bit of composure and lovely finish. He had a bit of a mixed bag as well in the FA Cup final. Sets this move up with Mace, continues his run. Once he gets in the area there, finishes it beautifully, but it ended on a sour note, not just for us, but for him personally. Bursting through, and on the strike there pulls a hamstring, which saw him miss the early part of this season. I think that's probably down to the fact that that consistency hasn't quite returned. Has chipped in with some goals. Nice finish there against West Brom, and this brilliant finish against Crystal Palace. So what has he got? He's got loads of energy. He's got pace. He can drive at defenders. Physically at times, I think he can sometimes struggle. But once he gets beyond you, the only thing you can do is drag him down. And he was fouled 11 times against Porto in a quarter-final, second leg, a new Champions League record. If you can't stop him, drag him down. So that consistency has to return. We saw against Brighton, he wasn't alone to be fair, that he's struggling just to get back to the form that we saw at the latter stage of last season. Still time, of course, for him to have a massive impact on what can still be a brilliant season, not just for him, but for Chelsea.
Jace, you spoke about in that analysis that the thing Christian Pulisic needs now is consistency. You know, he's been really, really sort of, I suppose, unlucky is the right word because of the injuries he's had this season. I was reading an article in one of the recent programs, which you can buy from the Reach Sports Shop, by the way, buy every Matchday program. But he's been saying he's been doing everything right. He's been taking care of his body. I suppose there's that added frustration for players like Christian, where we've seen how good he can be, but when you keep getting little injuries and you keep sort of hampering that run that you need to be on, I suppose it's as much a mental game as it is a physical one for him now.
Consistency also means consistent physical ability to do the job you want to do as well, and that's not been the case for him. There's been a number of reasons, I think, that he's when we look at what happened last season and about how he introduced himself to the Chelsea fans. It took a little bit of time under Frank, and Frank put him in and took him out, took him in. And there was the game away at Burnley where he scored the perfect hat-trick. And we felt, is this the platform now that we can really start to see Pulisic really kick on? And there were signs of that. And there have been a number of reasons why I feel that perhaps that hasn't happened. Injuries is absolutely key. And I think over the time he's been at Chelsea, those injuries have kind of mounted up. And if you looked at a chart and you see a graph, they go up and down. You think about the injuries. And any player to be consistent has to be fit consistently. And when they get in the team, it's about proving themselves, not just a fitness level, but also about the ability level as well. And those two have got to marry up. The injury in the FA Cup final was devastating for him at Chelsea. Had that not happened, and we all remember it happened, we all think he's going to hit the back of the net. Any other normal time, I think another yard, he hits the back of the net, and perhaps we go on and win it. And all of a sudden, that sliding doors moment changes everything for not just him, but the club as well. And it's been a difficult time for him. But other players have come in, and the way the system perhaps has changed now is a different challenge for him, because if you think about what happened under Frank was going to play a four at the back, might have offered different opportunities out wide. Now the role has changed. So I think we've got to take all this into consideration about how a player develops at a club when he's only been here since this time last year. I know he signed in January, but I think we've got to remember about how long he's actually been at this football club. So there's a lot to consider about him and his future.
It's a shame, isn't it, Abby? Because when he's got the ball at his feet, when he's running at players, he's so frightening. He's only started 13 Premier League games this season. When you see him at his best, he's quick. He can play on both sides. He's got 2 feet. He's obviously scored headers like he did at Burnley in the perfect hat-trick. But he is almost a complete player when you're building someone. You want someone for a winger or for an attacking player. He's got everything. So I suppose there's that added frustration that he'll be feeling. There's so much expectation on him from not only his national side, but also when he played in Dortmund and now you know that the ceiling is endless for him. So there's that added frustration because he's so good and everyone's desperate for him to get to that level.
Yeah, as you say, he clearly knows he's got all of that in the locker, that he is, an all-round player. And I've done it before. I've looked at him at Dortmund and, like you say, for his national team and what he can do. What an unbelievable player. So there is that expectation there, and he feels like he's not quite reached it yet. We've seen huge flashes of it, and recently he's been looking really sharp. And as you mentioned, probably our best player with the ball at his feet, just absolutely driving towards the opposition. He's lethal, and I do think he's a player that can bring that little bit of magic. So I'm hoping, today is a big game for him, and he can do that.
I guess there is that added positive as well, Zach, that the fact that Thomas Tuchel knows him. He knows Thomas Tuchel obviously played from under Dortmund. So I suppose there's that element of trust as well, that he knows that there's not going to be kind of a, that he understands the manager, understand how the manager works. So perhaps with some players where, the kind of the chopping and changing that we've seen in the last couple of games, maybe some players don't quite understand that yet or might not be able to take that on board as well. Pulisic knows how the manager works. He knows how he operates. He knows what to expect from him. And when you've got a manager that understands the player and a player that understands the manager, it might take a little bit of time, but surely that's a perfect situation.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, he even said when he first joined that because he didn't start Pulisic in his first couple of games, and Tuchel said it's actually probably because I know him and I know how good he is off the bench and how great impact sub he can be. If anything, it's a disadvantage that I know, and that's why he's not started. Christian Pulisic is such an interesting player because I do think out of all the players that we have there, he himself has the ability or the potential to be one of the best out of that whole squad. To be fair, that whole Chelsea young squad is ridiculous. The name, the list is frightening. What the next 5, 6, 7 years could be. But Christian Pulisic, like we see it we've seen it in so many patches where he glides past players, gives the same kind of memories and feelings of when Eden Hazard was doing it for us. And he's also become a bit of a poacher as well now, which is something that he's kind of added to his game. Getting in the goal against, obviously the West Brom result wasn't that great, but the goal that he scored was just making sure you get in there, get on the rebound. He scored a couple like that this season as well. Against Crystal Palace, the same. And so if he can just stay consistently fit, as Jay said, and consistently giving a good performance, then I think we've got such a star on our hands that can dominate, whether it's the left flank, the right flank, or through the middle. He's so versatile as well. And yeah, he's fantastic, man. He's so good.
Let's talk about a hot topic 3 for today, then, which is West Ham's top 4 push. And Jay, you've obviously already spoken and alluded to the fact that West Ham have done so well this season. You've been very impressed. And they've been thoroughly impressive. Like I said, they've been very entertaining to watch as well. But I suppose that there comes a point, and I've seen this week a lot of people making the comparison between David Moyes' Everton side all those years ago that qualified for the Champions League and sort of went above and beyond expectations. And you look through the squad, even today, you flick through the squad, and it's a squad that doesn't. There's not sort of world-class names that jump off the page, but 18 months ago, no one had heard of Thomas Souček. Now everyone in Europe would be on alert if he become available because of the threat that he poses. Kufal, the right back, same position. Jesse Lingard in January didn't kick a ball for 6 months, and now he looks like the best player in the world. David Moyes is really doing something special with this group of players.
He is, and when you get to this stage of the season, as I said earlier, and you're in the top 4 hunts, you're doing something right, and I think it needs to be appreciated and respected. The balance of the side has impressed me the most. Kufal, as you've mentioned there, at right back, has added real steel and energy and a bite and a leader in that team. You look at Souček alongside Rice. Is there a better midfield too in terms of the balance, in terms of what they've got? I'm not so sure there is, even at the highest level at City and Liverpool. I think that, and Man United, I think these two guys are as good as anything in there, defensively and attacking wise. Antonio missing is massive because that gives them a focal point to their attack as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, because Lingard has come in and added clearly something, and he worked with David Moyes at Manchester United, and David, to his credit, has pushed for that. But these are the games, as I said earlier, these are the games that are you good? Are you really top four, or are you just nearly top four? This is a game. If they beat us today and they go ahead of us in 3 points, that tells you a little bit more about them and us today. That's how big this game. Do not underestimate how big this game is. Respect what they've got, respect the players they've got, respect how he's got them playing, and go in and approach it as a game really racing for that top four. And I look, Thomas Tuchel don't get much wrong. Team selection so far has been absolutely spot on, and I don't expect today to be any different. We'll win.
I mean, yeah, absolutely right. And Abby J's just mentioned it there. They've about Souček and Rice, who have been sort of the spine of it for most of the season. Declan Rice is a Rolls Royce. I mean, he's a phenomenal footballer. Just what an incredible player. But obviously, he's injured now. They've scored 3 goals in the last 4 games. And I suppose the balance between Mark Noble then coming in, who, you know, we speak about, for us, our captain Cesar Azpilicueta being reliable, being dependable, being the one that you know you can throw anything at or any role. Mark Noble's done exactly that for West Ham for, I think, 16 years now. I think he's been there. I mean, to bring in a player like that, a character, a leader, to bring in when you've lost arguably your best player, that's such a positive from him. And they've not missed a beat, have they?
No, exactly. As you say, he's a player that's really put a shift in there, isn't he? And he's a leader, and he's so respected by the team. So they're in a good position there. For me, the player I'm most worried about, and I kind of can't believe I'm saying this, because if you said this 6 months ago, a year ago, is Jesse Lingard. He's the person we need to watch out for today. We need to have, you know, tabs on him at all times. I feel like that little spark he's bringing has kind of energized the whole of the West Ham team to really be like top 4. It's on. So for me, he's the one we just need to cancel out as much as possible.
Abby's right. Abby's right.
Well, I mean, there may be a certain positional change for Cesar Azpilicueta today. Might even be looking at the fact that Jesse Lingard will be a threat, because Azpi is our one to watch for today. I mean, he's been superb when he's played in a back 3. We saw him do this under Antonio Conte all those years ago into a back 3, and looked like he'd been playing centre half all his life. Now he's playing right wing back, we think, today, Zach. But just, I could sit here and talk about him for the next hour and a half, because genuinely I cannot think of any word that would sum up how important he is to this team, or how important he is to the football club as a whole. He's a tremendous leader, he's a tremendous captain, but to have someone that important that leads by example on and off the pitch, such a big thing for this football club.
Oh, mate, we'll look back in, say, 10 years' time at Azpilicueta as a living legend of this club. I mean, for £8 million from Marseille back in 2012, it's one of the best bargains of that century. As you said, right back, left back, centre back, won the Premier League several times, won the Europa League, won FA Cups. The guy, just whatever you put in front of him, he'll just do it. He'll always say yes to it, and he'll work to his absolute best and work his socks off. I remember when we brought in Felipe Luis, and Azpilicueta was the left back, a right-footed left back, and Felipe Luis was just like, I can't get in over him. He's so good. But also just like his values, like he loves the club. He's all the kind of work he does outside of the club, helping communities. I was lucky enough to go to the Chelsea like Christmas party back in like 2019 for like where all the kids come down, and like just such a nice guy, like taking photos with everyone, like having a laugh with them. He's honestly a quality and just a quality person, just someone that like as a club we can be so proud of that he's our captain.
Absolutely right. And Jay, it's his 421st appearance for Chelsea today. So he's joint 8th on the all-time appearance makers list with Steve Clarke. Obviously, West Ham links as well with Steve Clarke. Gianfranco Zola mentioned him quite at length last weekend, didn't he, as well? But that's the kind of that's the company that Azpi's keeping now. Not only a one to watch, but in terms of all-time greats at this football club. Like Zach said, you know, in 10, 15 years' time, we'll be looking back thinking how lucky we were to have Cesar.
He's going on the wall. He's going on the
big
wall.
Time.
Easy.
Absolutely right. But Jay, like Zach, everything Zach said there, he's so important off the pitch, but on the pitch, how versatile he is. That kind of, I suppose, gets underplayed a little bit from people outside, but he does look so comfortable wherever he plays, doesn't he? And that's such a big talent.
Zach's right. He will be on the wall one day. Do not underestimate versatility in the modern game, because things now, it's a squad game. And when you have a squad game, as we'll see at Gareth Southgate's team selection or squad selection going into the Euros, if you are versatile, it gives you 2 positions. Imagine you've got Aspie. You've got 4 positions. He can play left back, right back. He can play left wing back, left wing back. He can play right of 3. He's been a remarkable player for this club. But the thing that's impressed me and actually surprised me the most is that I think it was maybe about 3 years ago, away at a game against Southampton. Might have been the game where Giroud come off the bench and we won it. He struggled. Pace, fitness, looked like his career perhaps was just, and this is not a criticism of him. This is what happens, I know, to players. You can't keep, and it looked like maybe we'd seen the best of Aspie. Not a bit of it. He has gone, and he doesn't look. This is as good as Aspie has been over the last 2.5 years, I would say, consistently, as we have seen. And he's now wears the armband. And don't forget, that gives you that extra bit of your chest comes out and that extra bit of responsibility. He loves it. There is no one more competitive at this football club than Azpilicueta. He is a Chelsea legend, will go down as a Chelsea legend. And you know what? The one medal that's missing in Aspie's cabinet right now is that Champions League. And boy, would it be great to see him lift that.
Oh, it would, wouldn't it? It really, really would. Okay, right. Time to come on to our quiz for today then. So I know you 3 have been dreading this. I know you've been dreading it purely because the banter in the WhatsApp afterwards, if someone makes a mistake, Dan thought Aspie's squad number was number 1 earlier in the week. So that's the level you got to go to. He did mistake.
I have to defend Dan. I've got to defend Dan. I have to defend Dan. Yes, he got that wrong. I've got to defend Dan on that.
Can I just point out I did win the last quiz. So when I embarrass myself today, just keep that in your memory, okay?
I've not forgotten it, Abs. I've not forgotten it. I come here more determined.
Right, so this is the one. Then. So this is again little a kind of nod to Savage Dan, because this is squad number, right? So 3 rounds, everyone gets a chance to go first. I'm going to give you a number, and you have to give me the name of a player in the Premier League era who has worn that squad number. Okay. So we keep going around until the last person is standing. 1 point per right answer. Got someone in my ear that's going to keep score. So this is how we're going to go. Okay. So,
oh no,
is that you've got this? You're right. Okay.
And honestly, this is. I wish my boys were with me now. My boys know all of this.
Don't you dare put your phone down.
Can I phone down? Can I phone the son? Can I phone the son?
I used to be really good at this, but now
that's good then, Zach, because you've got 25 years to think through. Right, Abby, you're going to go first. Then.
I'm only 23.
Okay. Number 9, Abby. Name me a number 9 that's played for Chelsea in the Premier League era.
Oh, Tammy Abraham.
Correct. Zach.
Fernando Torres.
Correct. Jason Cundy.
Belarus.
Oh, knowledge. Yeah, good work. Good work. Abby, go on.
Oh, well, this is where my memory literally goes. I can't even.
I'm gonna have to hurry you.
Oh, I mean, I'm gone. My memory's gone.
Okay. Zach.
Shevchenko?
No, I'm afraid not, mate. He wore 7. Jace, go on, keep going. You can keep going, Jace. See how many points you can rack up. Give yourself a lead.
Is it Sidwell?
Sidwell
did wear number 9. He did wear number 9.
Keep going, Jay. You got any more?
Caleb Belarus is the only one I think where I went, really? And that's why it's gone in there. Sorry, have I won?
Yeah, keep going, mate. You can rack up points, so give yourself a head start in the next rounds.
Oh, God, can I?
I'll call the timer, ref.
Well...
Balak, no, that's not right.
No, okay, all right. Decent effort. No, right. So we had Tammy Abraham, Morata, Falcao, Fernando Torres, Franco De Santo, Sidwell, Belarus, Hernan Crespo, Matthias Kesman, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Chris Sutton, Luca Vialli, Mark Steen, and Tony Cascarino. Good work if you got any of those in the fifth stand-up, by the way. Yeah. Right, here we go. Okay, number 1. Dak, I'm starting with you. Number 1.
Petr
Jace.
Jeez, why should this feel so difficult?
There's only a couple of these, to be fair. Good longevity between keepers. Come on, Jay.
Okay, hold on. It can't be him.
I think you played with one of these, to be fair.
Oh, Kevin Hitchcock.
Yeah, good work. Abby.
Kepper.
Yeah, correct. Zach.
Zach's face is like just absolute distress. Look at him. Zach, look at the camera.
Courtois never had number one. He had 19. He had 19.
Showing his work in there. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Come on, Zach.
Cudicini.
No, good effort though. Jace.
God.
You have to hurry, you mate.
Yeah, I know you are. Abs take over.
Abby for the win.
I don't know. It's so stressful.
Did John Terry technically wear number one when he went in goal for those 15 minutes?
Oh, there we go.
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. It's not what's written down.
Actually, he might have won.
Dreadful
He
for you,
didn't.
Zach. Dreadful.
I'm being told he didn't. So Kepa, Willy Caballero, Asmir Begovic, Petr Cech, Ed De Hoy.
I was going to say Caballero, but I didn't think he'd ever have.
Begovic had number one.
Oh, yeah.
And Dimitri Karim was the other one. Right, okay. Jace, your start. Last round, number 10s.
Oh, there we go.
Matter.
Correct. Abby.
Pulisic.
Correct. Zach.
He did wear it. No, did he wear it? No, yeah, Hazard. Hazard won number 10.
Correct.
Yeah, Hazard.
Jace.
Oh, God.
Oh, I got one. I've got one.
Oh, I shut up.
One.
Shut up.
5 seconds.
Good Johnson.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Abby.
Joe Cole.
Yes.
Oh,
Zach, that was Zach's one, right off his tongue. Go on, Zach. I think there's probably.
Did Di Matteo wear number 10?
No, he didn't. Abby, you can keep going if you want.
I'm an abs.
If you get one right, I'm being told if you get one right, you win the whole thing.
Me? Oh
Yeah.
my God, Willian. He wore 10 for a bit.
William, keep going.
Abs.
Good work. Good work.
Last season,
I'm going to call it there. So, Abby, you got 5. Jace, you got 4. Zach, you got 3. I think it's not a bad effort, to be fair, all round. So, Pulisic, Willian, Hazard, Mata, Yossi Benayoun, Joe Cole, Slavicia Kanovic, Kazaragi, Hughes, Peacock and Newton, by the way. Very quickly then, this is the Chelsea team for today. Eduard Mendy in goal, Andres Christensen, Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger. Cesar Azpilicueta, Ben Chilwell, N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic and Timo Werner as well. Not long until the action gets underway. We'll be back at half-time, of course. But before we join our commentary team of Jason Cundy and Matt Davies-Adams, we can hear from the boss who earlier sat down with Lee Parker.
It's been another fairly hectic week, hasn't it? How have preparations been going into the West Ham game following the Brighton match?
For me personally, I switched everything off after the Brighton match. I was done with news and rumors and whatever was out there in these crazy 2.5 days. So I was total news free, internet free, 2.5 days now, which was very, very nice. I did not watch any football. I had full focus on my team now and on our team and on our target to arrive in the best shape possible in a crucial match against West Ham. I feel the team in a good mood. We had a day off, which was maybe a good thing to do, and had the feeling that everybody needed it. So now decisions are made and situations is clear, at least to me. I did not speak to the players again about it, so we just focus on us.
6 Premier League games remaining, starting with West Ham. Do you feel that this race for the top 4 is going to go right to the wire, as we say?
Yeah, I think so. If we should win, we would not have the feeling that this race is over. Liverpool will not stop doing everything in their power to grab a place in the top 4. So I think if you look at our fixture, we have so many crucial games coming up. It's a tight schedule and very, very tough games coming up. So the thing is to turn the situation around. When we started the race together, we had a huge gap between us and Liverpool, and now we arrive in a game like this on 4th place. and it is in our hands. So this is clearly the good news. And the bad news is you have to show it every 3 days again and again.